All right, see these three images here? Can anyone connect the dots here? All right, so the one image is the movie Hard Bodies. The other image is a picture of a band at the time called SSQ, a song called Syntheside. And then there is an image of Red Hot Chili Peppers. Can anyone connect those dots? Of course you can. That's why I'm here. Well, I'll connect the dots for you. Back in the 80s, there was a movie out called Hard Bodies. And featured in that movie was a song called Syntheside. And it was by a band called SSQ. SSQ actually turned into Stacy Q, Two of Hearts, and a couple other songs she came out with. But the band SSQ is playing the song Syntheside in the movie Hard Bodies, created a contest. And the contest was from the record label EMI, which is no longer around. But it was one of the biggest record labels in the world at the time. And they had a contest to all the DJs in the world. And the contest was that they would send out a record, like an album, to all the DJs, all the relevant DJs. And on that album, each track was snippets of part of the song. And those snippets came from an original recording by the band SSQ, and the song is called Syntheside. And the contest was to get a DJ to remix the song in his own special way and then submit it. And I did that. I submitted my remix of Syntheside. I used a small little Fostex 4-track cassette player, and I did some pretty wild and bizarre things in that remix. Flipped the cassette upside down, played some beats backwards, then flipped it back, and laid beats on top of it and gave it a lot of energy, a lot of power. So I was curious at the time because I was young and I was excited. So I kept calling EMI out in California. Hey, what's going on with the contest? And I called at least 3 times. And they would never say anything, of course. And then in a trade magazine called Dance Music Report, or DJs know it as DMR, the results came out. And yours truly won the contest. And I got a phone call from the people in EMI, and they said to me, you know, we were just laughing to ourselves every time because we knew by the first phone call that you'd already won, because the mix was just, they said it had bravado like never seen before. So the prize was I would get limousine from my house to a recording studio in New York City called Evergreen Studios. I think it was like 90th Street and Broadway, somewhere around there. And I was a DJ then, but I wasn't really getting high into it. I was very good, but I wasn't notable at that time yet so much. So I didn't really know the ins and outs, but I had an idea about the record business, and I was like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. I was like, wow, this could be my big break, right? So I get into the studio, and I find out that it's my job to remix this band that has an upcoming album. And the band was the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And there was 2 songs on that album that I was put the task to remix. And the one song was called Get Up and Jump, and the other one was called Baby Appeal. Now, Baby Appeal was sort of like an Art of Noise, kind of industrial type of low BPM sound. And Get Up and Jump was more of a high BPM, kind of a dance track, kind of get up and jump kind of deal. Well, the engineer there, his name was Rob Stevens. I don't know if he's still around or still alive. But he was the engineer, and he basically asked me what I was imagining, and I told him what I wanted. And we remixed both of these tracks. And both of these tracks were under my direction, under my creation, my creativity, my mindset. But when the record came out, I was very surprised to find out that he only put me on the one track, Baby Appeal, which I actually thought was the weaker track, and I guess he did too. And he pretty much plagiarized my mix and put his name as the remixer on Get Up and Jump. And it kind of broke my heart, and it set off, I guess, a trauma, a stigmatism that I developed for the music industry. Lo and behold, now when I look back, yeah. But I was still sort of innocent at that time as a DJ, And I wasn't dabbling in any drugs or anything like that. But I did notice as we were doing these remixes that he had these idiosyncrasies of being sort of not paying attention very much, a little wired, a lot of sniffing, a lot of blowing nose, a lot of going to the bathroom. If you know, you know. And I found out suddenly and rudely that not only is the music industry, lack of a better words, evil, but so were the people that were in control of it. Not only did this demon on cocaine have a job that he got paid very good money for, but he was also a thief. And it really broke my heart. But regardless of that, I still went on into my career, and I was very successful. But that's the story of the connection of Hard Bodies, SSQ, and Red Hot Chili Peppers. Now you know. Grow with the flow.